There is this website. No, it's not Friendster. It's not MySpace. It's not even Twitter. It's called Facebook. And if you would like to know how this global phenomenon began, please continue listening. Hello everybody and welcome to a great film episode of The Critical Reel, the podcast that takes a movie from the week, breaks it open, and reviews it. My name is Zachary, accept my friend request, Cruz Tan, and with me this week is...
Oh, hi, I am Zach, because usually introduce me, but I am Zach's brother, Jay. This is going to be a great episode.
Yeah, we're not reviewing a movie. Well, we are kind of reviewing a movie, but this is not one of our regular episodes. This is a great film episode because this is, at the time of this recording, this is the last episode of November.
Yep.
And as you all know, if this is your first Critical Reel episode, our last episode of every month is a great film episode where we pull a movie from our memory banks, from our movie archives that we think are great in one way or another, and we talk about it. And we talk about why we think it's great, and we discuss it and all that stuff. Having said that, this is our last great film of the year.
Yes, correct.
Yes, because next month is December, and even though by right we should have a great film for December, it's December, it's the last month of the year. We're gonna have something special planned for that. We're gonna do our 2015 recap episodes.
Yes, recap.
So,
that's the word.
Yeah, recap. Yeah. So, the worst movies of the year, the best movies of the year. So, all that is coming at the end of December. So, there's no great film for December. This movie, this episode on The Social Network is our last great film of the year. So, if you're waiting for our next great film, it's going to be in January.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be when our next great film is.
Yep. And if you didn't know, our great film for the month of October? Yes. The great film for the month of October was Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho.
Yes, and you can find that on iTunes, you can find that on YouTube, go and listen to it. Before we get the episode started, I would just like the friendly reminder that you can find me on social media. You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/The Critical Reel. Go like my Facebook page. You can find me on Twitter at The Critical Reel. Go follow me there. And if you are listening to this on iTunes, which you should be, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, download my episodes, rate and review.
Or our episodes.
Okay, I'm just used to... Okay, our episodes, yes. Go rate and review and subscribe to our channel and all that stuff. And Jay, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at DialogueSC. That's dialogue with UE at the back. Yep, that's it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we're gonna get started with this episode. Now, again, if this is your first Critical Reel episode, let me just give you a rundown of how this. No, if this is your first great film episode, because our great
different format.
Yeah, our great film episodes run on a different format to our normal episodes. Our normal episodes have 4 segments. Our great film episodes have 5 segments. Yes, double check that. Is it 5?
Yep.
It is 5.
Yeah, 5.
Okay, it's 5.
Yeah, 5.
Our first 2 segments are the same for both our great films and our normal episodes. We have our cast and crew and synopsis. That's our first segment where it's what it is. We tell you who the cast and the crew of the movie are. We tell you what the synopsis is. And then we dive into the background and the production. So the history of the movie, any kind of juicy facts, and how the movie came into being.
Any interesting trivia.
Any interesting trivia. Anything that will make you want to see this movie or give you information about this movie.
Yeah.
Our third segment of our great film episode is a first encounter. And that is essentially where we tell you and we tell each other, when was the first time we encountered this movie? It could have been 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whenever. If we do remember it, how we felt when we first watched it, and all that stuff. The next segment, the fourth segment, is watching it now, with an ellipsis at the end. That is just watching the movie now, after how many years, after seeing it for the first time. How does it hold up? Does it still hold up? Does it still feel great? Why does it, we're not gonna say why it feels great, but does it still feel great? Has anything in the movie dated or just fallen into disrepair? And the last segment is our discussion, and that's straightforward. It's where we discuss the movie and kind of tell you why we think it's great. Something interesting is going to happen in this episode. Because usually I do the episodes, because I started doing this channel by myself and I started doing the episodes, and ever since Jay came on board, we've talked about him conducting some episodes, and he has decided, because he has a great affinity and a great love for The Social Network,
Yes.
that he's going to conduct this episode. So he's going to run through the background and the production and all the good juicy bits about the movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm going to let you take over right now. So
All
Jay,
right.
go right ahead.
Thank you for that nice introduction. Okay, so we'll be starting with the cast, crew, and synopsis of The Social Network, a 2010 film directed by David Fincher.
Of course.
Yes, written by the great Aaron Sorkin.
Of course.
Yes, he has written things like A Few Good Men, The West Wing,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Moneyball, and his latest film, or his latest work, Steve Jobs, which we have not seen yet.
He co-wrote Moneyball
Co-wrote. Oh, yeah. Fair
with,
enough. Yes.
what's his name? Steven Zalian or something. Zalian. Yeah. Steve Jobs is still not out in Australia, guys.
Yeah, we still haven't seen it.
yeah.
So
It's coming out 8th of January or something.
Yeah, it's so far away.
It's early Jan. All right, yeah, carry on.
All right. Okay, cinematography was by Jeff Cronenweth. He's done
Jeff who?
Jeff Cronenweth.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why?
No, I didn't hear what you said the first time.
Okay.
But then, yeah, the name is familiar.
Yes, he's done multiple David Fincher films. He's done Fight Club, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo,
course,
and
yes.
Gone Girl, and including Social Network. He's done that as well.
So he is to David Fincher what Wally Pfister is to Christopher Nolan.
Sort of. Not
He
not
is
really.
he
He's
is
done a- he's-
very
he's-
he is very responsible for the look of David Fincher.
Okay, yeah,
just
that's
like
true.
how Wally
The
Pfister
look
is
and the
very,
color. The color is very important.
But that is his department as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one. Oh,
what I
okay.
meant.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So the music was done by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. That was a really good score. Yes.
And they also did the score for Gone Girl.
Yes, they
Yeah.
did. Yep. Trent Reznor is the singer of Nine Inch Nails.
That's correct.
Yes. The runtime of the film is 120 minutes or 2 hours. And the film stars Jesse Eisenberg, Andrew Garfield, Justin Timberlake, Armie Hammer, Max Minghella, and Rooney Mara. Yeah. And this is the synopsis that I just plucked off IMDb, as we usually do. Harvard student
Say it again.
Harvard student Mark Zuckerberg creates the networking site that would become known as Facebook, but is later sued by two brothers who claimed he stole the idea, and the co-founder who was later squeezed out of the business.
That sounds so boring, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I don't know. I'm just like, that does not make me want to see this movie at all. Yeah.
But it's pretty good. All right. Okay, now that's it for the cast, crew, and synopsis. That's pretty much all of it. And now we move into the background information and production part of this podcast. All right, so casting for this film began in August 2009. Jesse Eisenberg was the first one to be announced. A few days later, Justin Timberlake and Andrew Garfield were confirmed, and then about a month later, the rest of the cast was confirmed. So in a month later, October in 2009 was when principal photography began.
That is the casting, especially for the core cast. They confirmed that very late.
Yes, they did.
I should say, because that's a year before the movie was released.
Yeah, and it was just 2 months before
photography
began. Yeah, because August 2009.
I mean, like some movies you get some cast members who are cast while principal photography is going on.
Yeah.
Like they've already started shooting the film, and then they cast some people, but that's just like secondary roles or like people who've dropped out. This is like the core
main cast.
like, all of them were cast 2 months before principal photography, which is not very long at all. I mean, what kind of
Yeah, besides Eisenberg, Timberlake, and Garfield, the rest of the cast was cast the month that they started photography. Because So was their production rushed? Like their pre-production, was it rushed? I mean, why? I just think it's strange. I think it does sound rushed, doesn't it?
Most movies settle their cast, settle their crew, settle their a lot of things way in advance.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of movies have their genesis 5, sometimes 7 years before production begins. So it's just I just think it's interesting that they started so late.
Because I think most of like this film boils down to the writing. Like the writing's really important. I mean, because
So they probably wanted to nail the writing first before they cast anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. Sorry to interrupt you again.
Yes, it's fine.
But it's actually a bit similar to Steve Jobs because I think the writing for Steve Jobs was confirmed very early on. But there was so many rumors as to who was going to play Steve Jobs. And I think just like at the last minute it was Michael Fassbender. And I remember reading the news like, oh, all of a sudden Michael Fassbender is cast. And then several months later the movie was in film festivals and being released. And so I think it's the same kind of same kind of situation here,
Mhm.
where
Yeah, that's interesting.
Carry on with your lesson.
All right, so yeah, principal photography was in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and actually, amazingly, none of the film was shot on the Harvard campus or in Silicon Valley. None at all. And yeah, because one half takes place in Harvard, the other half takes place in Silicon Valley, and the film was not shot there at all in either of those places.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
And wouldn't students of Harvard realize immediately that?
Yeah, they would, but it wouldn't matter.
Okay.
Because Harvard turned down multiple requests for on-location filming because apparently a film in 1970 called Love Story, it caused significant physical damage to the campus. So since then, Harvard has
From all the sex that was going on, they were just rocking it.
apparently there was there was this riot that they had to film for that film, and people actually damaged the campus and stuff.
Oh
So yeah,
God.
since then Harvard has denied filming on campus.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
People just ruin it for other people.
Definitely. So yeah, their on-campus filming, I put quotation marks around that, their on-campus filming took place at 2 prep schools, a college, and a university. So, and they
just combined everything to make it look like Harvard.
yes, they did.
Well done. They pulled it off.
Yep. And the second half of the film, which was set in Silicon Valley, it was shot in LA and Pasadena.
Okay.
Yeah, because Silicon Valley is
Well,
in
still
San
in California.
Francisco.
Yeah,
it's still in California. But
Okay, fair enough.
it's a completely different area.
Yep.
And and just talking about photography, interestingly, there was only one handheld shot in the entire film. Can you remember which one it was?
Ooh. One handheld shot in the entire film.
Yep, the rest of the film was either on a tripod or on a dolly or on a crane.
Because I know David Fincher doesn't like to use handheld
Yeah,
shots.
he doesn't.
And he uses them mostly just once per movie.
Yeah.
Like
this film only has one.
I can identify the handheld shot in Zodiac.
Mm-hmm.
I can't identify the handheld shot in The Social Network.
you give up?
Yeah, I give up.
All right, it was a shot in the party house that fraternity house that they had the party in after the millionth member thing, and then when Sean Parker, when the music stopped and then he was walking to the door to see what was happening.
Oh yes,
and the camera was following him. That was a handheld shot.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I remember that now.
And then he found police on the other side of the
That's
door.
the only one. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, Armie Hammer plays both of the Winklevoss twins.
Of course.
Yes, and interestingly, for a few scenes, a Ralph Lauren model named Josh Pence played one of.
Oh, I know Josh Pence.
Do you?
His name, like he's been in a number of movies. I think Josh Pence sounds familiar. He might have. Yeah, he might have started. Okay. Carry on. I keep interrupting you.
He played one of the twins from the neck down, and his face was digitally replaced with Hammer's because they don't look anything alike.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's interesting because I thought it was all, split screen and green screened and masked out and stuff, but there was an actual body double there. And when you watch the film again, and after you
can notice
that the face has been digitally replaced.
It's the same technique that they used on Furious 7 with Paul Walker.
Right.
They used the body of his brother and kind of superimposed the face.
Yeah.
The only thing that they had more advantage because apparently Paul Walker's brother looks
a lot like him. Yeah.
So I'm sure they didn't have to. It was easier for them to kind of mold Paul Walker's face into his brother.
And David Fincher actually sent Armie Hammer and Josh Pence to this like twin boot camp for 10 months where they learned each other's mannerisms and yeah.
For 10 months?
10 months.
Wait. When was he cast? So that means he wasn't cast with the core crew.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe I misread that. That was weird. Because I remember seeing 10 months, but I don't know.
Maybe 1 month.
Maybe. Okay.
Well, whatever
that was my bad.
Whatever it is, it's still an interesting. idea.
Yeah.
There's such a thing called twin boot camp.
Yeah.
Where you go and learn how to be twins, basically. Yeah. I don't know if anyone can do that. Like just some 70-year-old guy and some 25-year-old girl just go.
Yeah.
By the time they come out, they're twins.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting, isn't it? Okay, yeah, there was an actor who was offered the role of Mark Zuckerberg, and he turned it down. Can you guess who it was? Well, it's hard to guess. He's been subject to
a clue.
He's been subject to a lot of criticism lately, and
Shia LaBeouf.
Yes. Oh my god. Okay, that Okay, that was impressive.
Yeah, I have no idea how. I honestly, I did not know. I did not know the answer to that. I swear, I did not know the answer. I just took a stab in the dark, and it was perfect. Oh yes.
Yeah, he was offered the role of Mark Zuckerberg, and he turned it down. Can you imagine him?
Thank God.
That would have been so weird.
Thank God. I mean, I'm not the biggest Jesse Eisenberg fan. I mean, I like him in a number of movies, but I just don't think he's versatile.
Yeah.
But he suits this role so well. I
yes, he
really don't
did.
think anyone else could have done it as well as he did.
Mm-hmm.
All right, carry on. Carry on, sir.
In the film, in one of the deposition scenes, it's mentioned that the invention of Facebook made Mark Zuckerberg the biggest thing on campus that included 19 Nobel laureates, 15 Pulitzer Prize winners, 2 future Olympians, and a movie star. One of the lawyers then asks, who was the movie star? And then the response is, does it matter? I actually know who the movie star is. Or was. This one's going to be a bit hard to guess. I mean, I can't really give any clues. It's an actress.
Give me a clue.
Okay, let's see if you know this. This actress is known to be really smart. Like I think she has a master's in English or something.
Natalie Portman.
Yes!
2 for 2! Oh, yes.
Yes. She was enrolled in Harvard from 1999 to 2003. So yeah, she was there. And interestingly also, I'm just full of fun facts today. She provided inside information to Aaron Sorkin about the goings-on at Harvard during that time.
Yeah. So she was like a consultant for...
Yeah, and she actually threw like this dinner party for Aaron Sorkin and a bunch of her friends from Harvard at that time. So Aaron Sorkin was just there taking notes, and they were telling stories to each other,
That is so nice of her to do that.
It is.
To actually throw a party and get her friends together just so that Aaron Sorkin could sit in a corner like a little creep and take notes about what he was doing, probably drawing all kinds of weird pictures. That was nice. That was nice of her to do that.
Yeah. Speaking of Aaron Sorkin, his the thing that drew him to this film wasn't even like the creation of Facebook. It was, oh my god, I was supposed to write down the name of this guy.
Why didn't you?
I forgot to write down the name of this. It's the guy who wrote the book called The Accidental Billionaires.
Oh,
Ben Merskin?
You know what? I will look that up.
Something like that. That was, I completely forgot to add his name in here. But yeah, this Ben guy sent Aaron Sorkin the introduction of his book, and by like the 3rd page, Aaron Sorkin was like, "Yeah, okay, I'm gonna write a movie about this."
But why? What was it that? What about the book drove him to?
I couldn't find out actually. He didn't really say.
So it was the book. It wasn't so much the story then.
Yeah. Because he said that the story, this kind of story, has been told so many times, but
that's true. That's true.
Yeah. In this day and age, this whole like this wonder kid kind, and he's just. He's a billionaire now, and that's what drew him to write this
It's interesting that you say that this story has been told a million times, because in one of my discussion points, which we'll get to later, I kind of just mentioned that this movie seems fresh.
Yeah.
Despite the subject matter, despite the fact that this kind of story has been told so many times, it's all about, like you said, it's all about the writing.
Yeah.
And by the way, the book, The Accidental Billionaires, the founding of Facebook. Wait, is that the whole title of the book? The Accidental Billionaires, the founding of Facebook, a tale of sex, money, genius, and betrayal.
I think that's the subtitle, because I just know it as The Accidental Billionaires.
All right, it was written by Ben Mesrich.
Mesrich, okay.
There we go,
yeah,
Mesrich.
That's it. Yes.
I'm doing your work for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Nah.
Actually, while Ben was writing the book, they were writing the book and the script simultaneously, because Aaron Sorkin thought that Sony would wait for Ben to finish the book before they would ask him to write the script, but they said, nope, get started on it right away. So an interesting thing, like a cool thing, because Ben and Aaron Sorkin would meet occasionally, and they would discuss their research, and they would help each other with the book and the script at the same time, which is, I thought that was pretty cool.
Wait, so Ben gave the book to Aaron to read?
No, he didn't finish the book. It was just the introduction.
Okay.
Yes.
That's what I want. That's what I want clarified.
Yeah.
That is interesting. That is very interesting. I like that.
Yeah.
I like the fact that they did that.
Mm-hmm.
And the proof is in the pudding.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. Yes,
All
please carry on.
That's pretty much it for the background and production aspect of things.
Wonderful. Well done, Jay. That was a masterful first attempt at. No, it was. I a lot of things you said I actually didn't know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Oh, that was good.
Thank you. And now we move into the first encounter section of the podcast, where we talk about what it was like when we first watched the film, if we can actually remember it, and discuss that. Yeah. And so, what was your first encounter with The Social Network?
I actually can't remember.
Yes, neither can I.
It's very vague. I really can't remember. I don't recall seeing this movie at the movies.
Neither did I. Did not either.
At the same time, I very well could have, but if I did, I think I would have remembered it because it was only 5 years ago. I really can't remember. I mean, I think you introduced me to it.
Did I?
I think you might have. Because I really can't remember, and I think even if you did introduce it to me, I can't remember when and where and how.
Because I can't remember introducing it to you.
I honestly, this is one of those weird movies where I just can't remember how I got into it. It's like it's just always been there.
Yeah, because because I can't remember my first encounter as well. Because I've seen the film at least like 5 or 6 times since its release. So it all kind of just blends.
But
together.
see, I'm thinking of another 2010 movie like Inception, and I can remember Inception so clearly. I can remember the first time I saw Inception.
Yeah, actually.
And I've also seen Inception many times after that. But it's not confused me as to when I saw it the first time. I can still remember my first experience watching Inception, and that was also 5 years ago. And it's strange that I can't remember my Social Network origin story. Can't remember it.
I can't. Yep, me neither. I all I remember was I was completely enthralled by the pacing of the dialogue and just how quickly things were happening.
Yeah, you see,
the amount of information.
I can't even remember my reactions to the first time seeing it. I can't remember if I was.
Oh, there's one reaction you would remember, being absolutely dumbfounded when you found out that the Winklevoss twins were played by the same guy.
Yeah,
you remember that.
But I can't even remember when I found that out.
Oops.
I can't remember when I found that out. I might have found it out like a year after I saw it.
Because I remember finding out after watching it for the first time, because I saw the credits and it was the same person, and I was just, what? I was completely blown away.
That was like the first time we ever saw such a feat undertaken in such a effective way. To see one actor playing twins, without just using split screen, without using all that stuff.
It was
so well done. It was so well done that we really admired it. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I just can't remember my initial reactions and my initial thoughts about the movie, which is very strange. I mean, obviously, otherwise we wouldn't be doing this episode, but my opinion of this film has grown tremendously since the first time I saw it. It's just strange that I can't remember it. It's odd. And I'm just waiting while Jay's having a sip of coffee.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. Okay, that was our first encounter of the film.
Yeah, it's not a very exciting.
It's a bit vague.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can't really remember this one. Our next great film, we have a very easy first encounter.
Oh yes, because it was a recent first encounter.
Yes. Okay.
We're not going to talk about what film that is yet. You'll find out.
Yeah, you'll find out in a couple of months.
Yes. So the next segment is Watching It Now, where we talk about if the film has held up. I mean, it's only been 5 years since its release, so we can't really say if it's held up because it's only 5 years.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say about this.
Yeah.
It's tough because this is the bare minimum. See, when I first started doing my reviews on my website, and I first started having my great film kind of canon, I made a rule for myself that any movie I enter into my great film collection has to be at least 5 years old. And 5 years is not a lot. I initially wanted to make it 10. But then I was thinking, if I carry on doing this, by the time I'm like 80 years old, and I see if I see a potentially great movie, I'm not going to be alive for the next 10 years to include that into my great film canon. So I kind of reduced it to 5 years, which is not very long. Like I said, 10 years would have been ideal. So 5 years is just a period. It's like a grace period. It's like a lull period to see if watching the movie again after 5 years, if it deserves to be a great movie.
Yeah.
And that was the rule I set for myself. So any movie that I enter has to be at least 5 years old. And so Social Network just reaches the bare minimum. It is 5 years old.
Mhm.
Came out 10 years ago.
What?
It came out 2010. That's what I was gonna say.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 5 years old. It came out 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's a bare minimum. So it's hard to really say if it holds up because it does. I mean,
Yes,
it's 5 years
it's only
ago.
5 years.
Nothing about the effects, nothing about the acting
Mhm.
is not gonna hold up. If you liked it when you watched it the first time, you're gonna like it now.
Well, one thing I would say is that the content of the film it has become a bit more apparent because everyone has Facebook now. Everyone, well, almost everyone, and as time goes on, when Facebook gets bigger and bigger, as in it has, I wrote this down somewhere. Where is it? Oh no, I did not write it. Okay, never mind. I can remember. It has
so many things you didn't write down.
Shut up. It has 1.5 billion users right now.
Yep.
Which is what, like a sixth of the population or seventh of the population. Yeah. Anyway, it has 1.5 billion users right now, and as it gets bigger and bigger, I think this film gets more and more apparent because.
But apparent in what way?
Like because everybody's using Facebook, and it's just interesting to see the origin of something that everybody's using.
That's true.
Yeah, that's why I think that this film is really important.
I mean, of course, as we all know, the movie is not 100% fact.
Yes. I talk about that later on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's time for our last segment of this episode.
Discussion.
The discussion.
Yes.
And like we said before, it's what it is. It's where we discuss the movie and we sort of discuss with each other and with all of you listening why we think The Social Network, especially since it only came out 5 years ago, why it deserves to be one of our great films.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to start with this one?
You go ahead.
Okay, I'll go ahead. This is my favorite David Fincher movie.
Yes, me too.
Hands down.
I think a lot of people would disagree with that.
Oh, a lot of people would definitely
everybody,
disagree.
there's
Fight
so many,
Club,
yeah,
Fight
so
Club.
many people are on the Fight Club bandwagon.
Yeah, Fight Club is the best. It's got Brad Pitt. It's got a great twist. It's got this and that. Fight Club is a good movie.
Yeah, we like Fight Club.
Yeah, we really like Fight Club.
It's not Fincher's best.
It's not even in my top 2 or even top 3, I think. Okay, I'm going to rank my Fincher movies.
Okay.
The Social Network is number 1.
Yes.
It is my outright favorite Fincher movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a 3-way tie.
All right.
For second place.
3-way tie. Gone Girl.
Yep.
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Yep.
And Seven.
Yes.
That
is my 3-way tie for second place. I think all those 3 movies are equally outstanding.
Which is, yeah. I agree with you, but there's so many people who disagree because a lot of people don't like Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
I don't care. It is a fantastic movie.
I
Girl with the
really
Dragon Tattoo is a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
And then it might be Fight Club, or it might be The Game. You haven't seen The Game yet.
I haven't seen The Game.
It might be The Game. The Game and Fight Club can duke it out in a parking lot for all I know.
But I think I prefer Zodiac to Fight Club.
Oh, I forgot about Zodiac.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay, then Zodiac, Fight Club, and The Game can have a menage a trois and then they can see who's victorious.
Mm-hmm.
So Social Network is my favorite Fincher movie. And what's interesting about it is that it's so un-Fincheresque.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the subject matter is just so unlike David Fincher. The psychology of the film is not like I'm not trying to box David Fincher in and say that he's only this kind of director and he only does these kind of movies, but his filmography kind of aims towards the psychological thriller, the crime drama,
really
the gritty kind of mystery. I mean, just look at Alien 3. You know, he's disowned that movie. I think the whole world has disowned that movie. But that's still a very dark. I mean, all the Alien movies are dark, yes, but you can see the birth of David Fincher's style in Alien 3.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look at Seven.
Seven is so.
You look at Fight Club.
Zodiac's
you look at Zodiac. You look at The Game.
Gone Girl is dark.
Gone Girl, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
That's dark.
These are dark movies, and they all deal with murder or deceit.
And they deal with really complex characters as well.
Complex characters, characters who are psychologically scarred by some event. He deals very strongly with psychological thrillers. Although yes, in some ways, the Social Network is a psychological thriller.
In some ways,
it can be a psychological movie, but it's just not his kind of field.
Yeah.
You know, I
You could
mean,
say that.
it's like Martin Scorsese directing Hugo.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah.
oh, this is the man who did Raging Bull and Taxi Driver with a lot of murder and Goodfellas
Mm-hmm.
and Casino and The Departed, and then he does Hugo, which
Yeah.
on the surface just looks like a kid's movie.
Which is it's just
You know,
on
it's-
the other
it's-
side of the spectrum.
Yeah, it's very
completely.
strange. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. I just think it's very
Yeah.
interesting. And so for me, Social Network was that movie for David Fincher. It
Mhm.
was just so unlike his style and his choice of content. But he did wonders with it. I mean, it
yes.
just turned out to be like I said, my favorite David Fincher movie.
Mm-hmm.
And usually when I choose a great film to add to my collection, I usually kind of identify something, a key characteristic of the movie that stands out for me.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is the writing.
Oh yes.
I'm going to say it right now. The Social Network is a great film because of the writing.
Mhm.
Because of Aaron Sorkin, this movie is fantastic.
Yeah,
And-
his dialogue is just unbelievable.
Yeah, and it might seem like an easy analysis because, you know, the writing, Aaron Sorkin's writing has been, you know, plastered all over the news and you know, it's like, oh, it's great. And he won the Academy Award for Best Screenplay.
Yep.
So it might seem like an easy analysis, but as you know, especially given his subsequent stardom, because ever since the Social Network, like we've pointed out now on the Steve Jobs posters, it's, you know, it's from director Danny Boyle and writer Aaron Sorkin. I
Yeah.
mean, when have you ever seen a screenwriter's name plastered on movie posters like that?
So yeah, it's,
You know,
in
like
such a big
and
font.
using his name to kind of pull people in,
Mm.
because that's what Aaron Sorkin has become now. He's become like this
Superstar writer.
superstar writer who you hear the name and you kind of expect great things. You
Mhm.
hear the name and it's like he's like the Martin Scorsese and the Steven Spielberg and the George Lucas and the Christopher Nolan, where his name is enough to pull people in.
Yeah.
I mean, especially people who know his name, obviously, but
Yes.
but it's enough, and that's why his name is on the poster. So it might seem like an easy analysis to credit the greatness of Social Network to his writing, but
Mhm.
I think it's completely justified.
Yep.
The writing for Social Network is why this movie is great for me.
Dialogue. Just
Yes.
the way he writes dialogue, like the pacing and the flow of the way the characters converse with each other, it's enthralling. It's completely enthralling, and you. It's just so smooth the way.
Yeah,
the
I think
film
a lot
flows.
of that has to do with like his word choice and his phrasing,
Yeah.
and a lot of how he holds words back. You know, like the punchline of a lot of lines, and then when the punchline is delivered, it has greater effect.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes the punchline is delivered in a different scene, like in the Social Network, because there are two lawsuits going on at the same time. You know, so and then there are flashbacks to what really happened. Sometimes a conversation that's going on in a flashback, that train of thought ends in one of the lawsuits.
Yeah, that's why I have a point here saying that the editing between the depositions and the flashbacks was handled masterfully.
Yeah. So I mean,
even though there was so much going on, you know, it was happening so quickly. The viewer never felt lost amongst that chaos. You know.
Yeah.
Well, at least I didn't.
Yep.
Yeah.
But see, that's another testament to why this movie is great, because see, it's not just the writing. Obviously, it's the editing. It's the acting from Jesse Eisenberg, which I'm going to talk about a little later. I mean, everything about this movie just kind of gels and comes together. But of course, the writing stands out. I mean, this is a movie that is built on smart people doing smart things in relatively stupid ways. You know, I mean, they make mistakes. They backstab their friends. They act like doofuses, you know, when they're like ziplining from the chimney, the chimney in Silicon Valley, and they break the chimney and they're throwing beer bottles. You know, it's just, these are people who are not really in control of their lives.
As well, they're kids.
Yeah, they are kids, and they don't really know what they have, but they're so smart, and they are doing smart things in just relatively stupid ways, and I find that very interesting. And this movie, it doesn't take its audience for fools. You know, it doesn't. I have it written in my notes. It is written in such a way as to make the world of inexplicable computer jargon understandable.
Yeah.
And it does it in such a way that it's not pandering to the audience. It's not condescending. It's not haughty and like talking about this computer language without any concern about whether the audience understands it.
Yeah, it doesn't isolate like a
it doesn't. It doesn't. You can, like, for me, I think even for you, like, we don't understand programming. We don't understand any of the stuff that they're talking about in this movie, but yet we understand it. We don't feel stupid. We don't feel like we are not in on the conversation. We don't feel like we don't know what they're doing. We know exactly what they're doing. We understand the story. We understand their motivations. We understand everything that they do and why they do it, despite this world of computer lingo that is alien to me.
Yeah.
It does a wonderful job of not like you said, not isolating, not ostracizing the audience in any way.
Yeah.
So I was going to talk about Jesse Eisenberg. I think he fits the role like a hand in glove.
Yes.
And I liked him also in The Double. I don't know, you haven't seen The Double.
No.
I like him in certain movies, even though he plays himself every single time, like James Franco. Well, James Franco he's a bit more versatile, but like Seth Rogen and Jonah Hill, they kind of play themselves all the time. And Jesse Eisenberg is one of those people. But he fits this role so well because he's able to deliver Spitfire dialogue like that. And he does it. His words, the words by Aaron Sorkin are so sharp. I mean, they really pierce straight into people.
Yeah, they're concise.
Into other characters. Yeah, like in one of the lawsuits, the lawyer asks, do I deserve your full do you think I deserve your full attention? And he comes up with this whole long story, and at the end he's like, so no, I don't think you deserve my full attention.
What was the line? Did I adequately answer your condescending question?
Did I adequately answer your condescending question? I mean, he says stuff like that really just cuts straight to the point. And it's stuff, it's great dialogue, and Eisenberg is just able to deliver it so well. I mean, his words really roll out like a steam
Oh,
like I was gonna say a steam liner, but then I realized I was thinking bullet train. So bullet train was the one I was going for. His words roll out like a bullet train.
Yeah,
they just zoom out of his mouth.
Like another testament to Aaron Sorkin's writing. I've actually read the script and
the whole script.
Not the whole script.
Okay,
yeah, I read most of it.
Yeah,
and you know how scripts. Well, if you don't know, scripts, like dialogue changes all the time.
Yeah,
and actors change these lines as they're going, and they just ad lib as they go along. But as I was reading the script of Social Network, the dialogue in the film and in the script, it was exactly the same, almost word for word. So there was no like
deviations from
and there wasn't a necessity to ad lib because the dialogue was like perfect.
I agree.
There was no change, and as I was reading it, I could picture the scenes that were happening in the film because the dialogue was exactly the same.
Like that opening scene when he's talking to Erica Albright in the pub. I mean, that is a prime example of how good the writing is and how good the deliveries are.
Yeah,
from both Rooney Mara and Jesse Eisenberg.
It's a perfect introduction to the character as well.
Yeah, because he's so oblivious to being a jackass.
Yeah,
he doesn't. I mean, and that mirrors in the last line of the movie. I mean, when Rashida Jones's character tells him, you're not an asshole. You're just trying so hard to be.
Yep, that sums him up.
That sums him up. That sums up the whole movie. It's a wonderful closing line. I'm going to talk about the closing scene also a bit later on. This movie, I think, is like Steve Jobs. Of course, at the time of this recording, we haven't seen Steve Jobs. It's not out in cinemas yet
because Australia.
But it's like Steve Jobs in the sense that the goal of this movie is not to imitate. See, it's not to create the perfect likeness of Mark Zuckerberg. Just like how like Ashton Kutcher in Jobs, like he was designed to look like Steve Jobs, and he did a wonderful job. I think he looked so much like Steve Jobs, it was quite fantastic. But the movie kind of crumbled around him.
It was pretty bad.
And I think this movie is like Steve Jobs in the fact that, like I said, it's not to imitate, but to capture the essence of the character, to capture the essence of the story, tweak it a little bit. You have your whole literary license to kind of do certain things with the story. And judging for what I've seen of Steve Jobs, it goes down the same path because Michael Fassbender looks nothing like him. Steve Jobs, but apparently he was great at capturing the essence of Steve Jobs. So I think it's very much like that, and I think that is perhaps a key characteristic of Aaron Sorkin's work, where he doesn't so much right for the sake of being 100% accurate in terms of portraying the likenesses and but he writes to capture the essence. And it might be planned and might be deliberate that they don't cast someone who looks exactly like the character that they're writing about.
And instead they cast someone who would be able to deliver the lines as best as possible.
Yeah,
I think that would be it.
I'm very eager to see Michael Fassbender in Steve Jobs. I've heard from a number of people that for them is their favorite movie of the year. So I'm pumped to see Steve Jobs, and I'm not the biggest Danny Boyle fan, but see it's strange. I'm looking forward to it because of Aaron Sorkin as well. So it is. I mean, I have to admit that he has become like this icon where you hear his name and you expect great stuff.
Oops.
Just hit your mic.
Yes, I did.
I like the music for this movie.
Yes.
The soundtrack is quite brilliant.
Yeah.
It's similar in Gone Girl because it's done by the same people. It's a very odd mix. The soundtrack is a very odd mix of very Nine Inch Nails kind of,
heavy, distorted kind of music.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's serene, it's calm, it's also tense in some moments, and I think the music just works. I mean, we've listened to the soundtrack on its own many times. It works as a very settling yet unsettling ambient piece. Yeah, the whole soundtrack is it's ambient music, and it's very unlike a normal movie soundtrack. And like Jesse Eisenberg, it fits the movie like a hand in a glove.
Yeah. Oh, you know that piece that ding ding ding
in the start. Yeah.
Well, we're just full of interesting things today. But yeah, the interesting thing about how that was like recorded.
Was it a doorbell?
No.
Was it?
It was a piano. No, it was a piano. But no, it was in the method of recording.
I see. I was thinking of the inspiration.
It was an actual piano. It wasn't recorded electronically.
Okay.
So there was a mic, and then they played that theme, and then they moved the piano a bit further away from the mic, and they played it again, and they moved it further away, and they played it again. So then they overlaid that to make it sound like it was echoey and
really
kind of which I love that.
That is pretty amazing.
Yeah. I like that.
I did not know that. Now I'm gonna have to listen to that again.
Because as the piano moves further away from the microphone, then it becomes more, echoey and distant. Yeah, I just love that fact. Yeah.
The Social Network is a nerdy movie.
Very.
It is, but it's a nerdy movie that's given the weight and the gravitas of the best crime thriller. Like we said, David Fincher's style, his choice of movies, like we said, has always been the crime thriller and the psychological stuff. This is the nerdy movie, but given the weight of a crime thriller. I mean, the method of the movie, like we said, it uses the clever intercutting of history, the flashbacks, and the two separate lawsuits, and it uses the intercutting between these three different things to build so much tension.
Oh my god! Yeah.
It like you said, the cutting back and forth between lawsuit 1, lawsuit 2, history, lawsuit 1, history, lawsuit 2, lawsuit 1. It jumps back and forth, and it uses this so well to build tension in the story. And like we said, this is a story that, like, from judging from the IMDb synopsis, sounds as boring as balls.
Yes, it does.
And yet, it's exciting to watch. It builds up to something. It builds up to the 1 million followers. It builds up to the eventual backstabbing of a certain character who now resides in Singapore.
Yes, yes, if you didn't know, my brother and I are from Singapore.
Yes. It builds up. It builds up to so many things. And I think that the build-up especially is not necessarily accredited to Aaron Sorkin, but to the way it kind of is, because he kind of structures the screenplay in such a way, but also to the editing, because it's edited so sharply and so tightly that we feel tensions rising amidst an ostensibly banal story.
And we just can't stop talking about Aaron Sorkin's writing because it is that good. Another thing that Sorkin, the way that Sorkin writes, he drops hints throughout the film about like what's going to happen, and they're really subtle hints that you would never ever pick up in your first viewing. And like I would only pick up on these things like maybe in my third, fourth viewing, and it's just simple things because it sets up the whole backstabbing thing where there was this moment when Eduardo Saverin, played by Andrew Garfield, he finds the cease and desist letter that the Winklevoss twins sent to Mark, and he was like, "When did you get this? And did you know that we could face legal action?" And then Mark was like, "I could face legal action," and everything was I, and you just feel that Mark was already cutting Eduardo out of Facebook.
It is very subtle hints as to what is going to happen later on.
Because the way that Mark talks about it, and it really seemed like he was using Eduardo for the money. That's it. Every time he talked to Eduardo, it was like, okay, we need more money, and that's it. And then when he talked about Facebook, like what he was doing with Facebook, it was just, what he's doing and what he felt towards it and how he was so pumped for that. And he never really included Eduardo in the whole thing. And that culminates, well, not really culminates, but another setup was the fact that Mark forgot to pick Eduardo up at the airport, and it was pouring down rain, and Mark just completely cut Eduardo out of it, and he was, he
again, that's build up, and then it pays off with the betrayal.
Another interesting fact, I'm sorry, but in real life, Mark actually did pick Eduardo up from the airport, but they added that into the film to add character depth. Yeah, so
and it works.
It works.
It works. So I mean, you're always given some kind of leeway when writing, factual movies. And the whole betrayal was just written so well. I mean, and how much did so and so's shares dilute down to?
Yeah.
It didn't. And how much did so and so's shares dilute down to? It didn't.
How much were your shares diluted down to? 0.03%.
You see, again, that's in the writing. That that the way that whole exchange is delivered, it cuts right to your heart, and you actually feel so sorry for Eduardo. What happens to him?
In all honesty, it was kind of his. Well, it wasn't his fault, but like he said in the film, that he should have had his lawyers look at the contract.
But see, he wasn't expecting Mark to betray him. Yeah. That's the thing. Like he thought that his friendship was so sound that he was completely blindsided by the whole deal. Anyway, my final point is the final shot and the final song.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I think the final shot of the movie, after the line, you're not an asshole, you're just trying so hard to be. The shot is just Mark Zuckerberg sitting in his chair, looking at his Facebook page at Erica Albright, who was his former girlfriend that he broke up with,
played by Rooney Mara,
very acrimoniously. The last shot is just him sitting at the computer looking at Erica Albright's Facebook page and just refreshing it to see if she's going to accept his friend request.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to make amends, he wants to get back in touch with her, and we never find out if she accepts it, but just the shot of him sitting there by himself, refreshing it so desperately to make a connection to someone, it throws the whole idea of what he was trying to accomplish with Facebook out the window, because he was trying to connect people, and yet here he is sitting by himself, disconnected from the entire world. He's isolated everyone from himself. He's thrown away his best friend, and he's just desperately trying to make one connection. And I think that is a wonderful, perfect shot, because does Facebook bring people closer or does it pull people further away? And then the song by the Beatles, Baby You're a Rich Man. I mean, we love the Beatles. It's a great song, and it fits the ending of the movie so well.
Actually, early on in the film, when Mark confronts Erica, and he wanted to apologize and all that in that restaurant. And then as he's leaving, she was like, "Good luck with your video game." So she didn't even know what he was creating. But then at the end of the movie, she was already on the site.
She had a Facebook page.
Yeah, she had a Facebook page.
That's a good point.
It's like, whoa, okay.
That's a good point. Because she just threw him away. That's right. I remember that. Do you have any more points for discussion?
I think we have.
Do you have your best and worst moment?
Yes, I do.
Okay, what is your best moment of the social network?
I kind of have two.
Okay.
First one is the creation of facemash.com. Yeah. Did you choose that?
Like when he hacks the yes, I have that now.
Okay. Because the first scene in the film in the bar when he's talking to Erica, that's a perfect introduction to his character. But then the next scene when he creates this website called Face Smash.
Perfect introduction to his skills.
Yes, and it's a perfect formation of his character. Oh, I love that so much. And okay, does this sentence make sense to people who don't know coding? Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna break out Emacs and modify that Perl script. Okay, what does that mean? But we don't care because
exactly. You don't care. He's speaking a different language, and we have no idea what he means. But
you know exactly what he's doing as well.
Yes, you know exactly what he's doing.
It's so good, and again, it's credit to Sorkin's writing because like you said earlier, we are completely oblivious when it comes to coding. But that whole scene where he hacks the different Facebooks of all the houses in Harvard, it was written so beautifully that I understood everything that he was trying to do, and yeah.
All right, what's the other one?
The other one is. Do you have another one as well?
Well, no, mine is a cop-out, but go ahead.
Oh, the other one is the race at the end of the
boat race.
Yes, the rowing race. Just keep going. That scene was shot so beautifully, and it had this music going on in the background. Oh, it was so good. It matched perfectly, and it wasn't just the music, because the music was kind of remixed as well. So it was, I just love that scene. Okay, yeah.
Did you enjoy that?
And yes, I did. That scene was actually shot with I can't remember the name of it, but tilt shift photography. Like it was miniature something.
What?
Have you not heard of tilt shift photography?
No. I might have heard of it. I'm not really familiar.
Yeah, where you have an image or like a video, and then there's there's a tilt shift lens where it obscures the skews
yes.
like the focus and everything, and it makes it look like it was like what you're filming is stop motion miniatures.
Really?
Yeah. So there's some of that in that scene. Yeah, which for me makes it like, because I'm a big cinematography nut. So yeah, that added so much to the scene. Yeah, that's my other best moment. All
right, my best moment, as usual, is a cop out.
As usual. Yes.
I wrote down many.
Oh god. No, I was contemplating writing all of it.
Yeah, because there are really a lot of moments in this movie that you just want to treasure and like put in your glass cabinet and just stare at all the time. Like I have down the hacking of Harvard's Facebooks, which is the creating of Face Mash, which is what is it face mash or face mesh?
Face mash.
Face mash.
Yeah. Where you mash faces together.
I see, which is what you said. I loved all of Mark Zuckerberg's bantering in the lawsuits.
Yeah.
The way he just shoots people down, the way the way he shoots people down, like he shoots the Winklevoss twins down, he shoots the lawyers down. He's just so sharp and so quick with his tongue.
And with that dialogue, Fincher's favorite line in the film is, "Let me just check your math on that." I've got the same thing.
Because what was there? It was something as simple
like
as
$2,000 and $1,000 and $3,000 or something like that.
Just check your math.
Yep,
I got the same.
Yeah, that was Fincher's favorite line.
And I have the boat race as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's just this movie is literally a clothesline of wonderful moments.
Yes.
Wonderful writing, wonderful character arcs, character deliveries, performances. It's and you can pick any part of this movie except for my worst moment, and it'll be a best movie. It'll be a best moment.
A best movie.
It'll be a best movie. What is your worst moment?
I actually don't have one.
Okay, you don't have one?
I just have a nope.
I actually accept that because I mean, great movies, great films.
Yeah.
But
what is yours? Yeah, I'm interested to find out.
Strangely enough, ironically enough, I didn't want to be a cop out.
Okay.
and just go none, which I did for my best moment, which is whatever. And I wanted to just pick a worst moment, even though it's not really a big thing. I wrote down here Christy Lee the crazy bitch. I like her character. I like Christy Lee is played by Brenda Song, and some of you younger listeners, if you're listening, might recognize her from a lot of Disney Channel shows. Yes. She played Andrew Garfield's temporary girlfriend at one point in the movie, and she's a crazy bitch. She is a crazy bitch. I like her character, but there was just a scene where she sets what did she set on fire? Like his gift, the scarf. Like Andrew Garfield gives her a scarf as a gift, and she hates scarves, which is kind of like okay. And then she sets it on fire, and then like his whole bedroom is up in flames, and he's panicking because he's talking to Mark Zuckerberg on the phone. It's a very minor thing because I don't think it's just me nitpicking, trying to pick a worst moment. But I was just like, that's a bit too crazy.
Yeah.
Do people really do that? I mean, she deserves to be in an asylum if she's that crazy. I mean, she really comes across as a really crazy woman.
Yeah, she does.
But yeah, that's just me. I mean, it's not really a worst moment. I just wanted to pick something, and yeah, that's this movie is nigh flawless. That I just picked whatever I thought.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I believe that does it.
That does it.
That does it for this episode. We were aiming for this episode to be shorter than before because we went way over time with Spectre.
Especially Spectre, which was like an hour and 20 minutes.
Spectre was like an hour and 20 minutes. That was way too long. We didn't want to do that. Even our previous episode went over time as well. So we've been trying to cut down. And we have. We've been concise. We still had time to discuss. And yeah, success. Okay, so this is our last, like we said, this is our last Great Film episode of the year.
Year 2015.
Look forward to January, the end of January, for our next great film, and we will not tell you what that is.
Oh, I really look forward to that because that's such a good film.
Yeah, we'll tell you when the date draws closer. Yes. We'll tell you what that is. Next week, we're going to be dissecting and reviewing In the Heart of the Sea, directed by Ron Howard, starring Chris Hemsworth and Benjamin Walker and Cillian Murphy. And we just saw that movie yesterday, and we're looking forward to reviewing it next week. So if you like Chris Hemsworth, if you like Crims Hemsworth, it's just getting worse. And you like Ron Howard, stay tuned next week. We're going to be reviewing In the Heart of the Sea.
Yep.
Do you have anything else to add about The Social Network, our great film for the month of November?
Oh, I think we covered. I think we covered it all.
Yeah, it's a wonderful movie. If you haven't seen The Social Network for whatever ridiculous reason, go see it. I think we've given enough reason as to why this is a great movie. And we are confident in our choice.
Yes, we are very. And on IMDb it's like 7.8. The rating's like 7.8, but the Metacritic score is 95. Yes.
Yeah, it's like Gravity. Gravity is like 7.8. On IMDb and like 96 on Metacritic. Gravity is. I'm going to say that right now. Gravity is going to be our great film in a few years.
Yes.
When it's eligible to enter our great film canon, it's going to be our great film.
It's like without a doubt. As soon as it's available, as soon as it reaches that 5-year mark, it's going to be in.
All right, so just to remind you guys once again that you can find me on social media. You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/The Critical Reel. Go like my Facebook page and keep up to date with me posting all sorts of nonsense about movies, including our episodes. Follow me on Twitter at The Critical Reel.
Yep.
Also, I didn't say this at the start, but go visit Hooked on Film.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a local Perth-based online film magazine that I write for. We do great stuff. We review Hollywood blockbusters, indie films, Australian movies, documentaries, foreign films, everything. Go read our stuff. We've got good writers. It's a fun environment. Go read that. And if you're listening to iTunes, once again, don't forget to subscribe to my channel or our channel.
All right, yeah.
Rate and review and download all our episodes so that you can listen to us when you're driving somewhere.
Yeah, or on the train or something.
On the train, wherever. Yeah. Jay, where can they find you once again?
Yes, you can find me on Twitter at DialogueSC. I don't really tweet much, but when I do, it's just some random stuff about anything really. I just tweet some random thoughts and that's it. You can follow me there. Yeah.
That was great. That was a great plug.
Thank you.
That does it for our episode on The Social Network. Until next week, where we will be bringing Chris Hemsworth into our studio.
Yeah, oh god.
Yeah, no, we're not. We're not really. We wish. Until then, watch movies till the day you die.
See ya.